Ultimate characters versus regular characters in First Descendants, does it matter? So let's go over the stats. I'll give you guys a full breakdown as quickly as possible. So first thing I want to go ahead and go over, it is not just a skin. As you increase the level, you're going to go ahead and get HP, shield, maybe MP, maybe defense, as well as some sort of shield recovery. Now, once you max out the character, these start to kind of compound to be a little bit more and more because you're going to get things that scale in your modules. So the difference between a regular bunny and an ultimate bunny at max level, we're going to be looking at a little bit of a boost to HP, shields, and on top of that, the defense. Now, does this really matter? Well, when you add things where you can get like 3 to maybe 400% increased shields or HP, these start to add up a little bit. Now, depending on the ultimate character and the regular character, it may or may not matter for you. And I'm going to go ahead and explain why, and I'll tell you the ones that kind of matter a little bit more. So just looking at the stats over here, obviously, the ultimate version is always going to be better than the regular version for multiple reasons. One, you straight up get better numbers in terms of stats, like your HP, shields, and all the other stuff that we just went over. However, there's another thing that you have to factor in, and that is the Transcendent mods. There are a lot of these different modules in the game that will say like Ultimate Bunny exclusive or Ultimate Glay exclusive. Whatever, character that you're playing, you may not be able to run certain mods. That can be a factor that you can actually decide for yourself if that's a build that you want to do. I would always suggest you guys to get the ultimate versions of the character, then invest your catalysts and all of your upgrades into it if you have the option. I understand sometimes people are leveling up, and through that process, it may matter. So that's another thing. But on top of that, when you get the ultimate versions of the character, you do get a bunch of free sockets like you would normally require catalysts to prestige your character and get these bonuses, because these aren't just obtainable for free as you level up every single time. You have to craft these, and what this does is on your module socket capacity, it's going to reduce that by half if it matches the appropriate one. Now, when you buy an ultimate character or you farm for it, it's going to have some of these as default. It might not be the correct socket that you want, so it may not matter as much for the socket capacity, like module type, if you have a very specific build and you already know exactly what you want and it doesn't match up with that. So that's kind of like a gray area, because you may have to just refarm up to get all the colors or the correct socket type. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. But I wanted this video to serve as a purpose to just go over all of them real quick. So going over Bunny, she may not matter that much to who is ever playing it, unless you need specifically that Transcendent module. But I wanted to go over all the characters really quick, so let's go ahead and go all of them. So as far as Bunny goes, it's not that big of a change, again, unless you need the Transcendent one. Now going over into Lepic over here. So as far as Lepic goes, let's go ahead and compare them side by side. So you can see over on the stats, the HP is like 20 something, it's like not even that big of a deal. Then we have max shield, it's a little bit more. And then as far as MP, it's the same. And then in the defense category, it's like 1500 defense. In the later stages of the game, you get like 4k plus in terms of defense on a roll. So that's a little bit. I would say, again, for this one, it may not matter unless, of course, you do want to go and run some of those Transcendent mods. Again, it depends on what build you are going for. Now let's go ahead and go into the next character, which is going to be Ajax. So as far as Ajax goes, we're looking at the HP over here, and you might notice, hey, it's the same. So it will matter. I'll show you guys why it will matter for certain characters. Ajax, though, I mean, as far as it goes, he's already pretty tanky. Getting an extra 1200 defense over here, comparing like, 6200 versus 74, it's not that big of a gap, and you literally have the same amount of HP. It's just basically, he's already a pretty tanky character. Again, this is another one where I would say, if you don't need the Transcendent mods, it may not matter as much. Next up, though, we have Visa. Let's go ahead and compare these side by side. And I'm using these as max level, obviously, because it's really easy to max out in this game. As far as Visa goes, the difference between the character, it's a pretty small numerical stat change over here. You get like 100 more defense. 100 defense is not that big of a deal. But again, another like 50 HP, you start adding it up, you get maybe like 200-300 extra HP. And I would say, unless you're needing the Transcendent mods, not that big of a deal. Next up, though, we already went over Bunny. The next one, this is where it actually matters. So the difference between a regular Glay and a ultimate Glay, because the character cannot use shields, they actually went ahead and just made the defense way, way, way higher. So the defense on Glay goes from 2300 to 4100. Again, that is basically half of a endgame mod roll, and Glay would matter in the ultimate category. Again, just to be completely transparent, all of the characters will benefit off of being an ultimate because you get these sockets first, and it kind of helps you have more mods on your character. But on top of that, if there's a Transcendent mod that you need, you have to run the one. So overall, to kind of wrap up the video, as far as it goes, the one that matters the most would definitely be the Ultimate Glaive. But the rest of the stat-wise may not matter as much, but the Transcendent mods will matter. So hopefully this clears things up in terms of like what's the difference between an Ultimate and a regular one. Yeah, it is objectively going to be better. It's not just a skin. It does affect gameplay. So hopefully that will solve any confusion for some of you guys. But that's going to wrap things up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something new. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new, sub, follow, turn on the bell, whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.